If you thought the banned Book of Enoch was just about fallen angels and cannibal giants, you'd be wrong because it gets so much crazier. We're talking monsters so massive that God himself had to separate them or they'd annihilate creation. A secret goddess that existed before time helped create the world and then got exiled, and she has everything to do with the secret of what you really are. Meanwhile, the angels of heaven are literally forging weapons for Satan. Why the hell are they doing that? We're gonna find out, and it's dark as hell. And remember Enoch? Yeah, he gets abducted again, but this time it looks like full-on alien contact. His spirit leaves his body, he's erased from existence, and gets dragged through a cosmic fire realm, and no one ever talks about this. Then Noah is described as a being that's not human at all, but glowing and talking at birth, looking totally alien. Even his dad was like, honey, are you sure this is mine? And just when you think it can't get even wilder, the book drops a bombshell about the Son of Man, the Messiah, but he's not who you think. And what the text actually says was so controversial, they rewrote it. Yeah, they literally changed the translation because the truth was too dangerous to publish. And the reason why is gonna blow your mind. My name is Morgue, I'm an ex-Christian ripping the veil off secret knowledge to wake the world the hell up. And today we're diving into the parts of the Book of Enoch that you've never heard before. Not from your pastor, not even on conspiracy podcasts. Because what's buried in these pages are gonna change the way that you see the world and yourself forever. And by the end of this video, you're gonna find out what secret they were willing to rewrite history to hide. Are you ready? Let's go. So last time we saw that fallen angels fell to earth, married human women, gave them secrets of heaven, and their giant babies tried to destroy the earth. But that's just the beginning. Let's start off with what might be the wildest abduction scene ever written. So picture this, Enoch is standing on earth, just a guy, and then it hits. And in those days, a whirlwind carried me off from the earth and set me down at the end of the heavens. Okay, so let that sink in. A whirlwind snatches Enoch off the earth and drops him at the edge of the cosmos. This isn't some cute little vision here. This is straight up interdimensional travel. He's being taken. Sound familiar? Because it reads just like an alien abduction report in ancient scripture. And it gets even weirder. I was raised aloft on the chariots of the spirit, and my name vanished among them. All right, first of all, chariots of spirit? Doesn't that sound suspiciously like alien technology? Like, how else would you describe it if you lived in that time? Think about it. He's basically saying a vehicle that isn't material. But then it gets wilder. His name vanishes. Not his location, not just his body, his name, his identity is erased. Like he's being pulled so far out of the dimension that even the concept of Enoch can't follow. What the hell does that even mean? Did God just delete him like his browser history of Nephilim gone wild? We're gonna find out. But first, it keeps escalating. Because now Enoch isn't just being moved through space, his spirit literally exits his body. My spirit was translated, and it ascended into the heavens, and I saw the holy sons of God. They were stepping on flames of fire. Their garments were white, and their faces shone like snow. Okay, these are not cute little Hallmark angels. These are interdimensional beings of glowing energy walking on fire. Their bodies literally shine. This isn't religion. It's sci-fi horror meets divine technology. This is described like a close encounter with light beings or plasma entities.
Don't be afraid. Pay attention.
Are you guys angels?
Yeah, sure. Angel, alien, whatever. Shut up and listen.
So why do modern Christians still picture angels as chubby little harp babies instead of radiant flame walkers from another dimension? I mean, what the But Enoch isn't the only one who describes angels like this. In the Bible itself, Ezekiel says, their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Their rings were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes around about. Spinning wheels within wheels covered in eyes. Tell me that doesn't sound like a cross of some terrifying machinery and interdimensional beings. Put that in your Sunday school coloring book. But then just when you think Enoch's reached peak of whatever ascension experience this is, he gets grabbed by one of these entities. And the angel Michael seized me by my right hand and lifted me up and led me forth into all the secrets. Now you know it's about to get good because he gets seized and hauled straight into the cosmic vault of forbidden knowledge. What the hell is this? Is it divine grace or a secret initiation or a recruitment into a war that's been going on longer than history remembers? And more importantly, what did Enoch actually see in those secrets? Because what comes next is where reality starts to break down. So imagine being Enoch right now. You've been just yanked out of your body, dragged through cosmic fire by an entity who didn't didn't even ask if you were cool with it, and you're probably thinking, okay, this is already nightmare fuel. But no, the trip's only getting started, because what's the first thing these otherworldly entities want to show you? Terrifying monsters that make Godzilla look like the gecko from Geico commercials. On that day, were two monsters separated. A female monster named Leviathan to dwell in the abysses of the ocean, but the male is named Behemoth, who occupied a waste of wilderness named Duodane on the east of the garden where the elect and righteous dwell. All right, let's break this down. So we have female Leviathan in the ocean, male Behemoth in the wilderness on the land. And if that wasn't crazy enough, another text explains why they were split. For the seventh part, where the water had been gathered together, could not hold them both. So Behemoth was given the dry land, but Leviathan, you gave the seventh part, the watery part. So these beasts were so colossal that creation itself couldn't handle them living side by side. But the Talmud actually takes it further. It says that originally there wasn't just one of each, that both Leviathan and Behemoth were both of them originally created in male and female pairs, but God slaughtered one of each of them, lest they breed and the world be destroyed. Yeah, let that sink in. These beings were so dangerous that God himself had to make sure they'd never breed to keep them from ending the world. So now we have just one Leviathan and one Behemoth. And so what do these creatures do? They fight to the death. The Talmud says, when the Holy One, blessed be he, wishes to show his might to his creations, he brings together Behemoth and Leviathan. They engage in a battle. Behemoth strikes Leviathan with its horns, and Leviathan strikes Behemoth with its fins until they kill each other. Okay, think about that. The God of the universe puts on a monster deathmatch as a demonstration of his power, not with love or beauty, but by forcing his own creations to gore, slash, and annihilate each other. Why would a God of love need to show off his strength by staging a death match between chaos monsters? I mean, how up is that? But guess what? Leviathan and Behemoth aren't just in the banned books or extracurricular material. They show up in the goddamn Bible you've got sitting on your shelf. And the descriptions are even crazier. In the book of Job, Behemoth is described like this. Behold now Behemoth. Lo now his strength is in his loins. He moveth his tail like a cedar. His bones are like bars of iron. That's a land monster with bones of iron and a tail like a tree trunk. Something more like a kaiju than anything in a zoo. But Leviathan goes even harder. Out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. His scales are his pride, shut up together as with a close seal. His heart is as firm as a stone. Yeah, it breathes fire. I bet you didn't know there's literally a fire-breathing sea dragon in your Bible. What's next? Hobbits and dwarves? When I was a kid, I was actually taught that these verses were evidence of dinosaurs in the Bible. Yeah, I was told humans and dinos lived side by side, and they all somehow squeezed onto Noah's Ark like some kind of prehistoric Jurassic Park. And get this, that the Earth was only 6,000 years old. That's literally what I was taught. But clearly these things aren't just dusty dinos, so why would God create these chaos monsters at all? Well, we're gonna get to that, but first, they might even be in the Bible's final book, Revelation, because it says, "And I saw a beast rising out of the sea with 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 diadems on its horns and blasphemous names on its heads." So that's a sea beast. Sound familiar? But it doesn't stop there. Revelation also says, "Then I saw another beast rising out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, and it spoke like a dragon." Yeah, so it describes a land beast. So now, even though Revelation doesn't name them directly, it sounds an awful lot like Leviathan and Behemoth. And remember, in the older traditions, God had to stop them from ending the world. And here we have Revelation, which is all about the end of the world, bringing in these land and sea beast archetypes. But just when you think it couldn't get any weirder, oh, it does. Because these monsters are being kept for something. For you to eat them. Hey, don't look at me. I didn't write this. Second Esdras says, "And you have kept them to be eaten by whom you wish and when you wish." Yeah, you heard that right. God's plan isn't just to restrain them and make them fight like some kid playing Pokemon, but to serve them up as dinner at the end of time.
Smoky flavor straight from the abyss.
Heaven is so weird.
The Talmud even doubles down, and the Holy One, blessed be He, prepares a feast for the righteous from them. And just in case you thought that was a little vague, then it gets even more specific. In the future, the Holy One, blessed be He, will bring Behemoth and slaughter it, and the righteous will feast upon its flesh. And with regard to Leviathan, in the future, the Holy One, blessed be He, will make a banquet for the righteous from its flesh. Yeah, blessed be He, all right. So let's get this straight. These are world-ending monsters, so dangerous, God had to kill one of each of them to stop them from multiplying, and the plan is to feed them to the righteous at the end of time? This makes eating the body and drinking the blood of Christ look like a snack. What the hell is going on here? So this consuming isn't just some bizarre ancient dinner plan, it actually is the key to a huge secret, and we're gonna get to that. But first, what Enoch is shown next is totally alien and mind-blowing. So just when Enoch's brain is already fried from monster visions, things take an even darker turn into cosmic war. He was again taken by a whirlwind and said, "There mine eyes saw all the secret things of heaven." Then he hears a thundering voice that's fending off the Satans and forbidding them to come before the Lord of Spirits to accuse them who dwell on the earth. Yeah, Satans. Plural. Turns out the ultimate villain isn't just one guy with a pitchfork, it's a whole squad of them. But it doesn't mean what you might think, because the word Satan, it's not actually a name, it's a title that means accusers or adversaries. So right now, there's a war in heaven going on where they are fending off the adversaries. So what is going on here? Because then Enoch sees something so insane, it turns everything upside down. He writes, "For I saw all the angels of punishment abiding there and preparing all the instruments of Satan. And I asked, for whom are they preparing these instruments? And he said unto me, they prepare these for the kings and the mighty of this earth, that they may thereby be destroyed."
Why are you working for Satan?
Honestly, he pays overtime and God is kind of a dick.
Okay, hold the phone. Angels, God's own agents, are literally forging weapons for Satan. Forget harps and halos. Are these guys in a celestial blacksmith shop cranking out divine nukes for the devil? Well, maybe not exactly. Remember, Satan in Hebrew means adversary or accuser. So what Enoch's seeing are angels of punishment hammering out adversarial weapons. But let's be real, whether they're for Satan or just for punishment, it doesn't look great when God's crew is running an interdimensional weapons factory. So what's going on? Simple. God is pissed because the Watchers revealed the secrets of heaven to humans.
Want the forbidden knowledge?
I don't know. The fruit you gave me last time gave me diarrhea.
The text literally says people learned all the secrets of the angels and all the violence of the Satans and all their powers, the most secret ones, and all the power of those who practice sorcery. Yeah, you noticing a theme here? God really hates it when people learn things. Eat from the tree of knowledge, punishment. Learn forbidden arts from angels, punishment. God hits reset over and over. So then Enoch sees a vision of how God will destroy the world with water. That's the flood we know from the Bible. But it doesn't stop with water. Hell no. Enoch watches angels of the Lord literally causing kings to go insane and turning on each other like rabid animals until there be no number of the corpses through their slaughter. And then even the underworld itself joins the party. Sheol, the underworld, shall open its jaws and they shall be swallowed up therein. The ground itself opens and eats the damned alive. But remember, these are all visions of what's to come. But what is actually going on Earth right now? Well, while the heavens are prepping cosmic genocide, something deeply weird is happening. Humanity is about to get a visit from a alien baby? Yeah, let's check it out. Because in the Book of Enoch, the birth of Noah goes like this. She became pregnant and bore a son, and his body was white as snow and red as the blooming of a rose. And the hair of his head was white as wool, and his eyes beautiful. And when he opened his eyes, he lighted up the whole house like the sun, and opened his mouth and conversed with the Lord of righteousness.
This baby just spoke Hebrew and Enochian.
Is that my kid or Baby Yoda?
Excuse me? So this kid pops out glowing like a human light bulb and instantly chatting with God like it's baby's first words. Forget diapers, this newborn's ready for prophecy school on a goddamn UFO. And of course, what happens? Dad freaks out. The text says, and his father, Lamech, was afraid and said unto him, I have begotten a strange son, diverse from and unlike man, and resembling the sons of the God of heaven. It seems to me that he is not sprung from me. Okay, so why is he freaking out so bad? Sure, his baby looks like it just fell out of the mothership, but there's more to it than that. Remember, God is about to nuke the whole planet. Why? Because the Watchers, the fallen angels, hooked up with human women and popped out Nephilim, angel-human hybrids stomping around and eating people like Attack on Titan. So yeah, Noah's dad is bricks because he's staring at his glowing alien-looking kid and basically goes, honey, why does our kid look like a glowing alien messiah? Did you know just happened to hook up with an angel while I wasn't looking? But then Enoch himself steps in and is like, hey, chill, I've seen the visions of God. He showed me the destruction that's coming and Noah makes it through. So don't stress out. He's legit your son. No cap. Okay, so think about what we've seen so far. Angels making weapons, monsters that could destroy creation, Noah looking like he just dropped out of a UFO. The whole system feels off, right? Like reality itself is glitching. And Enoch finally shows us why. Because the one thing that could have kept it all balanced was exiled, pushed out of the world. Let me explain. See, Enoch says, I saw all the secrets of the heavens. And one of the greatest of those secrets is a she, a hidden goddess. Enoch writes, wisdom found no place where she might dwell. Then a dwelling place was assigned her in the heavens. Okay, pause. He's just talking about wisdom, right? What's the big deal? Well, here's the thing. Wisdom isn't just an abstract idea here. Notice it's her. Wisdom is a she. In Hebrew, the word is chokhmah. In Greek, it's Sophia. And if you know your Gnostic texts, that's where the bomb drops. Because Sophia isn't just wisdom, she's a goddess, a cosmic figure. And according to Gnostic Christianity, her actions are literally responsible for the creation of the material world itself. Yeah, the secret book of John says, the eon wisdom, Sophia, began to think for herself. Think about that. The moment that she acts independently, the whole cosmic drama kicks off. There's another hidden text literally called the Sophia of Jesus Christ, and it doubles down. When the self-begotten one willed, a great emanation came forth, and Sophia, his consort, came forth. They brought forth a great androgynous light. Her male name is First Begetter, Son of God. Her female name, First Begettress, Sophia, Mother of the Universe. Yeah, Mother of the universe. Why does no one talk about this? But you gotta admit, it's pretty on brand for the church to skip over wisdom itself. Can't have real wisdom, and definitely can't have a female goddess creating with God, because it kind of screws up the whole patriarchal system, doesn't it? And if you think it's because, well, these are in forbidden texts in that crazy Book of Enoch, sorry, because she's in the Bible too. I'm not kidding. Crack open Proverbs 8 and hear her say, the Lord brought me forth as the first of his works, before his deeds of old. I was formed long ages ago, at the very beginning, when the world came to be. When there were no watery depths, I was given birth. When there were no springs overflowing with water. Before the mountains were settled in place, before the hills, I was given birth. That's wisdom, Sophia, speaking as the first creation. And it doesn't stop there. Then I was beside him as a master craftsman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always, rejoicing in his inhabited world, and delighting in the children of man. That's insane. The Bible itself describes Sophia as standing right next to God, actively helping him create. And that lines up with what the Gnostics said about Sophia. So if Sophia is the mother of the universe in the Gnostic texts and the master craftsman in the Bible, then your pastor has some explaining to do, because that means creation was not a solo project, it was a partnership, a co-creation, and the partner was a she. But the church doesn't like that, does it? But let's connect some dots here. So in the Bible, it says Sophia doesn't just hang around God in the heavens, she's delighting in the world, looking to dwell with humanity. Now flip over to Enoch, because he's busy having a vision of this goddess, and he writes, wisdom went forth to make her dwelling among the children of men, and found no dwelling place. That's the same story, but from two angles. Wisdom wants to be here to live among us, to integrate with humanity, but In Enoch, she's flat out rejected. Humanity doesn't have any room for her. They're like, sorry, no wisdom, only conspiracy theories and memes. But Enoch continues, wisdom returned to her place and took her seat among the angels. So we have this theme of being in the world or trying to be in the world, but getting rejected depending on the source. And guess what? The Gnostics have a very similar take. According to their secret books, Sophia starts off in the highest heavens, but then gets trapped in the material world and loses some of her light. She's stuck there and exiled in matter, unable to fully return to the highest realm. Eventually, she regains some of her light and can return to the heavens, but not the highest where she originated. So even though these sources, Enoch, the Bible, the Gnostic texts, all differ in the exact details when it comes to Sophia, they share a common theme: wisdom dwelling in humanity. In one version, she rejoices, but another, she becomes trapped, and in another, she's rejected. And if something about that is pulling at your soul, that's because there's a deep secret here that's all about you, and we're gonna get to that. And what you're watching is more than just a channel. We are a revolution of consciousness, making what they tried to bury go viral and reach literally millions. So hit like and subscribe and share this video to spread it like fire. If you wanna help out more, become a member for free downloads on inner transformation and members only videos. This week's members only video is called "This One Sentence in the Bible Changes Everything About God." Also, check out my books. Links are in the description of this video. But first, Enoch's interdimensional tour is far from over, because Enoch says, "He translated my spirit into the heaven of heavens, and I saw there, as it were, a structure built of crystals, and between those crystals, tongues of living fire." Okay, stop. Don't just hear that and go past it like it's normal. His spirit gets translated into another dimension, and then he starts tripping balls in a structure made of crystal. This isn't some church stained glass window. This is a craft of living gems. And then tongues of fire between the crystals? It sounds like it's being powered by living energy, vibrating, humming with power. And the heaven of heavens looks less like church and more like some alien cathedral straight out of a psychedelic trip. And here's the part that no one admits. If you wrote about this today, people would call it a UFO abduction report or a DMT vision. See, the ancients, they saw something so utterly alien, so mind-bending, that they didn't have any words except for crystals and fire. And you were told this was heaven, cute angels on a cloud? Please. And this is just the lobby. Enoch hasn't even gotten to the throne yet. Then he says he saw the guardians, seraphim, cherubim, and ophanim, 3 types of angels, and these are they who sleep not and guard the throne of his glory. Okay, let's unpack that. 3 separate angelic species who never sleep, never rest, and their full-time job is guarding God's seat. And why the does God even need guards in the first place? Is someone trying to jack the throne? And remember, these aren't fluffy harp angels. Check out how the Bible itself describes the seraphim. Above him stood the seraphim. Each had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. So 6 winged entities with voices that boomed like thunder, guarding God himself on eternal watch duty. And then there's the Ophanim. Now, we already heard how Ezekiel described them, remember? Wheels spinning inside wheels that are sky high, covered in eyeballs. These are those biblically accurate angels you always hear about. And then there's the cherubim. Here's how Ezekiel describes them. As for the likeness of their faces, they 4 had the face of a man and the face of a lion on the right side. And they 4 had the face of an ox on the left side. They 4 also had the face of an eagle. Okay, seriously, how the hell did we get from that to fat little babies with wings? These are 4-faced hybrid entities guarding the throne of God. But somewhere along the line, some Renaissance painter looked at Ezekiel's cosmic fever dream and went, nah, let's just slap wings on a toddler. People will love that. Turns out, yeah, people like looking at cute babies over multi-faced alien hybrids. But just when you think it can't get even more intense, it does. He says, and I saw angels who could not be counted, 1,000 thousands and 10,000 times 10,000 encircling that house. Do the math. That's over 100 million angels. That's not a choir. That's a army, a sea of blazing interdimensional beings, more than even Enoch can comprehend. If heaven looks like this, it's not peaceful, it's overwhelming. And then comes the centerpiece. Enoch says, "And with them the head of days, his head white and pure as wool, and his raiment indescribable." This is God, the Ancient of Days, radiant, terrifying, draped in light that Enoch can't even describe. Forget your pastor talking about a gentle old guy in the sky with a beard. This is a blinding presence so alien that Enoch can't even look straight. So what happens to Enoch? He collapses like he's stunned. "And I fell on my face, and my whole body became relaxed, and my spirit was transfigured." Yeah, he goes down hard like he's hit with a stun gun. Body limp, spirit ripped out, and he's short-circuiting. He's basically fried by the intensity, and then his spirit is literally transformed. And then he starts crying out with the spirit of power. "And I cried with a loud voice, with the spirit of power, and blessed and glorified and extolled." So Enoch's on the floor, his spirit evolving like a god-level Pokemon, and his whole identity gets rewired. And that phrase, spirit of power, is wild. It's not saying that Enoch felt powerful, it's saying his spirit itself became something else, plugged into a force way bigger than him. Oh, but it's not over. It's about to get way stranger, because he's about to witness one of the deepest secrets of all. The text says, "And he showed me all the secrets of the ends of the heaven." These are all the secrets, not a few notes from God's diary, not some inspirational quotes from his private Instagram account. All the secrets. That's like backstage access to the entire universe. And then the angel greets him and drops this bomb. "This is the Son of Man, who is born unto righteousness." Okay, hold the hell up. The Son of Man? If that title sounds familiar, it should, because it's in the Bible. Jesus uses it constantly to describe himself. See, not only do Christians call him the Son of Man, they also call him the Prince of Peace too. And Enoch is about to drop that connection. "He proclaims unto thee peace in the name of the world to come. For from hence has proceeded peace since the creation of the world." Peace since the creation of the world. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing that you heard in church about Jesus. Eternal peace, world without end, amen. But then Enoch says, "From the beginning the Son of Man was hidden, and the Most High preserved him in the presence of his might, and revealed him to the elect." Okay, wow, this is a pretty big deal, because most Christians would say, "See, it says the Son of Man was hidden from the beginning. That just proves Jesus was eternal and with God from creation itself." But the question is, was Enoch actually seeing Jesus? Or was he seeing some other messianic figure that then got retrofitted into the story of Jesus later? Because just when this is sounding like Jesus, you know, Prince of Peace, Sunday School Savior vibes, brace yourself, because it's about to get pretty damn bloody. "And all the kings and the mighty and the exalted and those who rule the earth shall fall down before him on their faces, and worship and set their hope upon that Son of Man, and petition him and supplicate for mercy at his hands." Okay, so far so good. This could still fit in with gentle Jesus, right? Everyone bows, sings a hymn, holds hands, and asks for mercy. But wait for it. "Nevertheless, that Lord of spirits will so press them that they shall hastily go forth from his presence, and their faces shall be filled with shame, and the darkness grow deeper on their faces." Okay, hold on. Press them? It's saying that God himself is the one applying the pressure. If the Lord of Spirits is actively pressing these rulers, he's the one setting them up for failure. He presses these rulers until they crack and makes sure that their faces are filled with darkness and shame, and then, surprise, surprise, he punishes them for it. And he will deliver them to the angels of punishment to execute vengeance on them because they have oppressed his children and his elect. All right, wait. Let me get this straight. God engineers their downfall, presses them until they break, and then says, "Let's torture them?" But it gets way worse. "And they shall be a spectacle for the righteous and for his elect. They shall rejoice over them, because the wrath of the Lord of Spirits resteth upon them, and his sword is drunk with their blood." Yeah, a spectacle, not just punishment, entertainment. The righteous get front row seats to watch their enemies suffer like it's a goddamn live stream.
Why are we being crushed?
Content for the righteous live stream.
That's the divine equivalent of an "Am I the asshole" post on Reddit. Hi Reddit, am I the asshole for making these guys screw up and then torturing them forever? I just thought it'd be funny. Also, I invited all my friends to watch and cheer while I did it. LOL. Like, bro, you don't need the subreddit to weigh in. Yeah, you're the asshole here.
Am I the asshole for crushing kings and drinking their blood?
You locked the comments, sir.
Okay, so God is clearly the one pressing, torturing, and getting drunk on blood, but the Son of Man is still just chilling, radiant, and peaceful. And honestly, isn't that exactly how modern Christianity tries to sell it? The Old Testament God is wrathful and scary, but don't worry, New Testament Jesus is love and light. Well, that's what I was taught, but stop right there. Even if that's the case, how the hell does that make it okay? Like, yeah, God used to be a genocidal warlord, but now he's chill, he's rebranded, and we got a new spokesperson? I mean, what the f? But here's the kicker. Enoch doesn't even let you have that, because the Son of Man, the one that sounds like Jesus, suddenly morphs from Prince of Peace into a full-on movie villain from Saw. Because first it says he will break the teeth of the sinners, and the darkness shall be their dwelling, and worms shall be their bed. Hold the hell up. Break their teeth? That's not love your neighbor. That's straight up curb stomp Jesus. But it gets worse. And he shall put down the kings from their thrones and kingdoms because they do not extol and praise him. Oh great, so not only is he violent, he's a narcissist too. Miss a worship service? Forget to clap loud enough? Break their teeth in. This is cosmic dictatorship energy. Kim Jong-un with a halo. And if that wasn't bad enough, it says, and the word of his mouth slays all the sinners. Forget Sermon on the Mount. This is Sermon on the body count.
Blessed are the meek. Also, I'm breaking teeth in today, motherfuckers.
Wait, what?
Like, imagine him opening his mouth to say peace, and then boom, half the audience drops dead. And then the icing on the bloody cake, and they shall be terrified, and they shall be downcast of countenance, and pain shall seize them when they see that Son of Man sitting on the throne of his glory. So just looking at him is traumatizing. Instant terror and excruciating pain. So here's the $1,000,000 question. Who the hell is this Son of Man? At first glance, you'd say this is Jesus, but then he's suddenly smashing in teeth, demanding worship, vaporizing sinners with his voice, and torturing kings just by showing up. Maybe Jesus isn't the Son of Man. So maybe the real question is, who the hell was Enoch looking at? Are you ready? Because it's about to get wild. Here's the nuclear bomb. Enoch says, and the head of days came to me and greeted me with his voice and said to me, you are that Son of Man who was born for righteousness. All right, stop the tape. Did you catch that? Not, this is the Son of Man pointing to someone else. Not someday this guy's coming. No, God himself tells Enoch directly, you are the Son of Man.
You are the Son of Man.
Wait, me? I thought that was Jesus.
It depends which book you're reading.
Now, why does this matter so much? Because if that's true, the Book of Enoch is saying the messianic judge, the figure Christians say is Jesus, isn't Jesus at all. It's Enoch, the abducted prophet, the alien baby's grandpa, the guy who just went on the ultimate interdimensional acid trip. But guess what? Some Christians could not handle this. So later, translations actually changed it. Yeah, they literally edited the text because the implication was just too hot to handle. R.H. Charles, the guy who gave us one of the most influential English editions of the Book of Enoch, just straight up altered the wording. Instead of, you are the Son of Man, he fudged it to, this is the Son of Man, so that it wouldn't mess with Christian theology. Can you believe this? Even modern biblical scholars like Leslie Walk and John Collins both call bull on this. Leslie Walk says Charles's solution was to amend the text of Enoch to the third person instead of the second person. Thus Charles read, this is the Son of Man, rather than you are the Son of Man, but this has no surviving textual basis in any of the manuscripts, and for this reason is to be rejected. Yeah, Charles had no textual basis for the change. He just did it because the truth didn't fit with his or the Christian worldview. And John Collins drops the hammer. The solution of Charles was to amend Enoch to read, "This is the Son of Man," and changed you to him in the following verses. This procedure has no basis in the text and is clearly unacceptable. So this is not just some mistranslation. It's a deliberate censorship. This is a text being airbrushed so Jesus keeps the monopoly on the title of Messiah. So if you've spent your whole life believing only Jesus could be the Son of Man, this should make your head explode. And think about it. If they changed this, what else and who else has been erased because their story didn't fit the approved version of Christianity? And here's the craziest part. If Enoch himself is the Son of Man, then the entire Christian narrative collapses in on itself like a black hole. No wonder they buried this book. Okay, but what the hell does all this actually mean? Let's step back for a second and take a breath, because we've been through some wild Enoch getting abducted like it's the original Alien encounter, cosmic fire realms, Godzilla's parents, Leviathan and Behemoth, Sophia, the exiled goddess, the mother of the universe. But here's the thing, what do we actually do with all this? I mean, do we really believe that there are kaiju monsters chilling under the ocean waiting to be served up as barbecue for the righteous at the end of time? Here's the thing, these stories are not meant to be taken literally. That would be crazy. They are symbols and they are myths, but they describe forces that are real, not out there in the sky, but in here inside us. So the question is, what does this mean for us? Well, let's make sense of Leviathan and Behemoth. On the surface, they look like giant monsters waiting to eat the world, but symbolically, we can interpret them as the two poles of your own psyche. Enoch calls Leviathan female and Behemoth male, not male and female in the shallow biological sense, but as archetypal forces. Think of it like left brain and right brain, reason and intuition, logic and emotions, the conscious and the unconscious. These two poles constantly feel like they're at war. I'm sure you felt it, that clash between cold rationality and deep feeling. That's your Leviathan and Behemoth fighting inside you. That's why Behemoth is associated with the earth. Firm, structured, stable, practical, while Leviathan is associated with the water. Wild, chaotic, fluctuating, emotional, and deep. And so then what the hell is up with the righteous eating them? Weird, right? Well, the feast on Leviathan and Behemoth isn't some ancient barbecue. We can understand it as metaphor for integration, consuming them, digesting those opposite forces, bringing them into yourself together so they can work in harmony instead of ripping you in half. In other words, you don't defeat your monsters, you become whole by eating them, combining reason and intuition, logic and emotion, the conscious and the unconscious into something whole, complete, and powerful. And then comes Sophia. Wisdom. Remember, wisdom tries to live among humanity and then gets rejected? She goes looking for a home here inside us, but finds no place to stay, so she leaves and goes back to the heavens. Well, this is, again, symbolic. How many times have you felt that inner voice, a flash of clarity, but it ends up getting drowned out by all the noise and distractions of the world? Sophia is the wisdom inside of you that's been exiled. She's there, but forgotten. It means the wisdom you need isn't out there in some pastor's sermon or locked in a pulpit. It's already inside you. It's Sophia, the hidden wisdom you've ignored, the part of you that remembers where you actually come from. Access her, and you remember your true origin isn't in chains, it's in the heavens. Okay, but what about the aliens? Are they real? Short answer, well, kind of, and kind of not. See, the language Enoch uses, whirlwinds, chariots, fire, beings of light, they absolutely read like what modern people call alien abduction reports. But slapping the label aliens on them in the Hollywood sense, like little gray dudes and saucers, is just as lazy as calling everything angels and leaving it at that. What I mean to say is, calling these beings aliens is just as silly as calling them angels. These visions describe beings that do not fit our categories. So here's what I believe is going on that fits with my studies of quantum mechanics, philosophy, mathematics, the occult, and altered states of consciousness. First, Let's talk about DMT. What the hell is DMT? Dimethyltryptamine, DMT for short, is a powerful psychedelic that's found all over nature. Plants, animals, and guess what? In the human body too. Yeah, your body literally makes it. It's in you right now. When DMT spikes, people report complete ego dissolution. Names vanish, time melts, and the sense of self just totally falls away. Sound familiar? When Enoch says his name vanished, that's the clearest mystical description of what modernity calls ego death. Your personal narrative, the John who pays the bills and has opinions on TikTok, literally melts away. Names are identity tags. Losing your name is losing the grip of the egoic self. And then what happens to Enoch in that state? He meets these otherworldly beings. And in the Bible, these beings usually say something like, "Be not afraid," or "Fear not." But here's where it gets crazy. People who break through on DMT trips report that they are pulled into otherworldly dimensions, and they say that the entities there tell them the exact same thing. Don't be afraid. Pay attention, we have something to show you. Yeah, thousands of years apart, same damn story. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that, oh, this is just the brain making up. Hell no. DMT isn't random. It's a tuning device. It changes and channels. And what's on the other side of that channel? There are two major possibilities. One is that you access the architecture of your very mind, your soul. This is the deep collective unconscious that Carl Jung was always talking about, where Leviathan, Behemoth, Sophia, all those symbols within you come alive and speak to you. The second option is you literally access another domain entirely beyond just your mind or your soul alone. In other words, these are living intelligences in the architecture behind reality. I'm not talking little green men in spaceships or even aliens in the physical sense at all. Calling them an angel or an alien is just as silly. They aren't aliens from the sky or from space or from a physical planet. They're interdimensional in the sense that they operate on different rules. You're interfacing with interdimensional intelligences that use symbol and pattern rather than the physics of the material world. And then there's actually a third option. It could be both. The brain is a receptor and a tuning mechanism. Under extreme conditions, it becomes sensitive to modes of reality we normally filter out. Those modes can present as archetypes within the self, universal psychological forms, or as veridical, autonomous beings existing in other domains behind physical reality. But whichever it is, the point is that it changes you. Just like Enoch says his spirit was transfigured, that's the point. Enoch was describing the raw, terrifying, awe-inspiring process of a human consciousness colliding with something else. So the question is, are you ready for what happens when your own name gets erased? When the self that you're so attached to dissolves, and you're left face to face with either your deepest archetypes or the beings that run the machinery of reality. So what do we do with all this? Leviathan, Behemoth, alien abductions, ego death visions. These stories were never meant to read like Sunday school fairy tales, and they should not be taken as literally true. That's dangerous. These stories are meant to change you. They're symbols and they're maps. They're showing us the forces inside of you. So don't believe blindly. Wake up and integrate these forces within yourself. Remember who you really are. And the answers aren't in a book or even in this video. They're inside you. This channel is not about giving you the answers. It's about pointing you to where you can find the answers inside you. See, this is way more than a channel. This is a movement. We are the forces that God tried to separate. We are Leviathan and Behemoth united, not to destroy the world, but to transform it. This is a total transformation of humanity, a step into a new reality. And you, the one watching this right now, you are part of it. But if you thought that was insane, that's just the beginning. Wonder why God is acting like a maniac? There's another banned text called The Secret Supper, where Jesus reveals that God is actually the devil and that Jesus comes from an entirely different God. Watch my video all about the banned book of the Cathars. It'll change the way you see everything.